Department of Electronics, Sharat Chandra Pawar, Mahavidyalaya, Lonand, and today we are going to discuss topic interrupts. Now, what is an interrupt? So let us take an example of our day-to-day life. If we are at home busy in performing certain tasks and suddenly doorbell rings. So ringing of doorbell is also an example of interrupt. Now interrupt is an input to a processor whereby an external device or a peripheral it wants to establish communication with the processor, or a peripheral can inform the processor that it is ready for communication. Now, when peripheral device activates an interrupt signal, then the processor it branches to a program called as interrupt service routine. And this particular program is written by the user for performing the task that the interrupting device wants the processor to execute. After executing the interrupt service routine, the processor returns to the main program as shown in the figure. Now, in the figure, we can see that this is our main program which processor was executing. Now, as soon as the processor comes across an interrupt, or whenever an interrupt is generated by the peripheral device, then what will happen? The processor it will branch to a program that is the interrupt service routine, and it will start executing the instructions in the interrupt service routine. Now, in the interrupt service routine, whenever it comes across the instruction that is RETI, the processor it will again branch to the original main program, and then it will start executing the instructions from the main program. Now, what is the basic of interrupt? So, when peripheral devices interrupt the processor, branching takes place to the interrupt service routine. But before branching to the interrupt service routine, 5 steps the processor does or the controller does before branching to the interrupt service routine. So first step is that it completes the execution of the current instruction. Second step is that program status word register value is pushed onto the stack. Third step is that program counter value is also pushed onto the stack. Fourth step is that interrupt flag is reset, and fifth and last step is that program counter is loaded with interrupt service subroutine address. So this is the 5 steps. These are the 5 steps which controller does before branching to the interrupt service routine or the subroutine. Now, when program counter is loaded with interrupt service subroutine address, then what happens? Branching to ISS takes place. Now, during execution of ISS, interrupts are disabled because interrupt flag is reset. Now, the interrupt service subroutine is ended with RETI instruction, that is return from interrupt instruction. As soon as the controller it comes across RETI instruction, it performs two important steps, and first is pop from the stack top to the program counter, and second step is pop from the stack top to the program status word register. And thus after executing of interrupt service routine, processor returns to the main program with program status word register value unchanged. So these are the two steps which processor does once it comes across the RETI instruction. Now next topic is the classification of interrupt. There are various ways in which we can classify the interrupt. One type is whether that particular interrupt is an internal interrupt or the external interrupt. Another type, whether can controller ignore that particular interrupt or not, and that type is the maskable and non-maskable interrupt. Third type is whether that particular interrupt is the vectored interrupt or the non-vectored interrupt. Okay, so let us discuss this particular classification of interrupt, and that is the internal and external interrupt. So interrupt is classified into two types. One is the external and another is the internal interrupt. So external interrupts are generated by the peripheral devices via the microcontroller interrupt pins. So peripheral devices, when they are going to generate the interrupt via the or at the microcontroller pins, IC pins, such type of interrupts will be called as the external interrupt. Another type is the internal interrupt. So internal interrupts are activated by the peripherals of the microcontroller and by the instructions of the interrupt. So after executing the interrupt instructions, another type of interrupt is generated, and that is the internal interrupt. Now another type of interrupt, as I have told, is can the controller ignore that particular interrupt. So interrupt requests are classified into two categories, maskable and non-maskable interrupt. So microprocessor and microcontroller have the option to disable the interrupts. These types of interrupts are called as the maskable interrupt. So the interrupts which can be ignored or disabled by the controller or the processor, such type of interrupt are called as the maskable interrupt. Another type of interrupt which the processor cannot disable, which the controller cannot ignore, such type of interrupts are called as the non-maskable interrupts. Then interrupt vector. So the term interrupt vector, it refers to the starting address of the interrupt service routine. Now each and every interrupt is associated with interrupt service routine, and starting address of that interrupt service routine is also fixed or predefined by the controller. So the processor needs to determine the starting address of the interrupt service routine before it can provide the service. The interrupt vector can be determined by one of the following methods. First is the vector interrupt. In this method, the starting address of the interrupt service routine is predefined when the microcontroller is designed, and this type of interrupt is called as the vector interrupt. So whenever the microcontroller is designed, the starting address of the interrupt service routine is also predefined. So such type of interrupts are called as the vectored interrupt. Another type of interrupt is the non-vectored interrupt. So in this method, when the microcontroller receives the interrupt signal from the external device, then the processor completes the execution of the current instruction, and then it is going to generate a signal which is called as the interrupt acknowledge signal, which is an active low signal. Now, after receiving this INTA signal, external hardware sends the interrupt vector to the microcontroller. This type of interrupts are called as the non-vectored interrupts. Then, the various types of interrupts. So, 8051 microcontroller, it has 5 prominent interrupts, which includes 2 external interrupts and 3 internal interrupts. So, 2 external interrupts are external interrupt 0, which is called as INT 0, external interrupt 1, which is called as the INT 1. 3 internal interrupts, which includes 2 timer interrupts and 1 serial port interrupt. So these are the 5 interrupts. Then again, when an interrupt is generated, the contents of program status word register and program counter are pushed onto the stack. Vector addresses as shown in the table is loaded in the program counter. So the table, it shows the vector address of that particular corresponding interrupt when it is generated, and this vector address is loaded in the program counter. This table also shows the priority which is assigned to the different interrupts. So let us look at the interrupt one by one. So first interrupt which has the highest priority is the external interrupt 0. Vector address is 0003H and it has the highest priority. Timer 0 interrupt, vector address is 000BH. Then external interrupt 1, it has the vector address 0013H. Timer 1 interrupt, it has the vector address 001BH, and serial port interrupt, it has the vector address 0023H and it has the lowest priority. So thank you for attending this session. Thank you very much.